Satellite images released on Tuesday showed the damage to Iran's Fordo enrichment facility, following U.S. strikes. According to Associated Press, the United States struck 3 sites in Iran early Sunday, inserting itself into Israel's war aimed at destroying the country's nuclear program in a risky gambit to weaken a longtime foe despite fears of a wider regional conflict. U.S. President Donald Trump claims a ceasefire between Iran and Israel was, in effect, on Tuesday, after expressing deep frustration with both sides for violating the agreement he brokered. Israel earlier accused Iran of launching missiles into its airspace after the truce was supposed to take effect. The Iranian military denied firing on Israel, state media reported. But even as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu claimed that Israel had brought Iran's nuclear program to ruin, a new U.S. intelligence report found that the program has been set back only a few months after U.S. strikes over the weekend, according to 2 people familiar with the assessment. The early report issued Monday by the Defense Intelligence Agency was described to the Associated Press by 2 people familiar with it. They were not authorized to address the matter publicly and spoke on condition of anonymity. The report also contradicts statements from Trump, who has said the Iranian nuclear program was completely and fully obliterated. The White House called the assessment flat-out wrong. Ukrainian forces continue to hold around 90 square kilometers of territory in Russia's Kursk Oblast, according to Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, General Alexander Syrsky. Syrskyy's latest statement countered Moscow's claim in April that the operation to purge Kiev troops in the region has been completed. He claims that the operation has blocked a planned Russian assault on the Pokrovsk direction in Donetsk Oblast by forcing the redeployment of enemy troops. Syrsky, speaking to journalists, has confirmed that Ukrainian forces remain in control of approximately 90 square kilometers in the Glushkovo district of Kursk Oblast. He explained that the operation prevented a large-scale Russian advance toward Pokrovsk by anchoring enemy troops in place. Our active operations in the Glushkovo district of Kursk Oblast disrupted these plans. As a result, those units were not relocated to other directions. One of the brigades already moving toward the Pokrovsk direction was returned to Kursk, Syrsky said. Syrsky also highlighted that the Kursk operation had earlier drawn in nearly 63,000 Russian soldiers and about 7,000 North Korean troops, reducing pressure along other fronts and enabling Ukrainian forces to regroup. Currently, roughly 10,000 Russian troops are engaged in combat within Glushkovo, according to Syrsky. Meanwhile, near the northeastern border in the Pivnikno-Slobozky direction, north of Kharkiv and Sumy oblasts, Russia has amassed around 50,000 personnel, including 2 airborne divisions, 4 main brigades, the 177th Marine Regiment from the Caspian Flotilla, and other units. Despite the buildup, Russian forces advancing from Kursk into Sumy Oblast have been stopped just several kilometers inside Ukraine, along the line of Kindrativka, Andrivka, Yablonivka, and Yunikivka. Syrsky stated that the focus is on combining defensive actions with active defense and localized offensives. This approach allows holding positions and striking where the enemy is weaker. According to him, passive defense under current conditions only leads to losses, both in territory and personnel. Therefore, we combine defensive actions with active defense and offensive operations. That is, where possible, we strike the enemy and conduct counterattacks. We advance where we see weak spots in the enemy's defense, he said. Syrsky reported that to implement this active tactic, separate assault units have been created. They appeared during the Kursk operation and are currently fighting on almost all the most intense fronts. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer welcomed Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to London Monday on his state visit, and the pair met with Operation Interflex troops, charged with training Ukrainian soldiers. According to Associated Press, Starmer praised the two countries' cooperation and reiterated the UK support to Ukraine as both a UK and Ukrainian flag flew over Downing Street. "It is really good to be able to fly those flags as a symbol of the unity between our two countries," he said. Zelensky gave ample thanks to his counterpart and to the Interflex troops, claiming the occasion of their meeting was a historic moment. "We're thankful for this meeting, for the decision of support militarily and financially to Ukraine," he said. "It's very important to share our experience, first of all your experience on the battlefield," he added, addressing the troops. Back in Ukraine, Russian drones and missiles killed at least 14 civilians and injured several dozen others in overnight attacks, local officials said Monday, with 9 deaths reported in the capital, Kyiv, where an apartment building partially collapsed. The strikes came nearly a week after a Russian attack killed 28 people in Kyiv, 23 of them in a residential building that collapsed after a direct missile hit. Russia has also hit civilian areas with long-range strikes in an apparent attempt to weaken Ukrainian morale.
Good afternoon. Slava Ukraine.
Can I just welcome you to Downing Street? It's really a privilege and a pleasure to welcome not only President Zelensky again, he's a regular now at Downing Street, but to have you here is a really special privilege of mine, because I've seen the training that you do at Interflex a number of times now. I've come to see it, both the trainers and those that are being trained, and I have to say it is really humbling. And I'm really proud that we've been able to do that throughout the conflict, and will continue to do so for the rest of the conflict, into hopefully a ceasefire with Ukraine in the strongest possible position. And of course, when I was in Ukraine, I think the time before last, we signed the 100-year agreement between our two countries. So it is really good to be able to fly those flags as a symbol of the unity between our two countries.
Thank you, dear Prime Minister, dear Keir, thank you for invitation. And we are very thankful to UK, all your team and people of the United Kingdom for such big support of Ukraine from the very beginning of this war. It's a very historic moment. It was, and the good result of today's our meeting, this additional decision of co-production, and I think it will be very strong and will strengthen both nations. It's very important, yes, to share our experience, your experience, by the way, first of all, your experience on the battlefield, and your knowledge and experience during Interflex training mission. So I'm very thankful for this meeting, for the decision of support militarily and financially Ukraine. Thank you. Slava Ukraine. Thank you, Keir. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.